My first canon movie. So Highlander is a 80s movie directed by Russell Mulcahy. And this is his second movie. He did another movie called Razorback, which I haven't seen. I might get to it at some point. But he's more famous for directing music videos. He's done lots for Elton John and Duran Duran and some other artists. So that explains some of the directing in this movie, and I mean that in a good way. It's written by Gregory Wyden, Peter Bellwood, and Larry Ferguson. I don't like it when there's multiple writers on a movie, but that's okay. We've got Christopher Lambert in this, of course, as Duncan MacLeod, the French Scot, Clancy Brown, Roxanne Hart, and Sean Connery. There's a lot of fun to be had in this movie, but you need to forgive one thing right away. Sean Connery is not an Egyptian, and he's certainly not a Spaniard, and he's not a cross between an Egyptian and a Spaniard. He is Scottish as fuck, and sounds it too. And Christopher Lambert, he does not sound Scottish at all. In fact, he sounds French as fuck. So, yeah, you got Duncan MacLeod played by Christopher Lambert. He is playing a Scot, and then you've got Sean Connery, the Scot, playing an Egyptian Spaniard. That hurts my brain. And that's one of the few things that hurts my brain in this one. Now, whatever score I give this, I just want you to know it's going to be plus by 1. And if you ask me why, it's because one of my favourite bands of all time is Queen. And almost all of the music in this movie is by Queen. So I'm super happy, big smile on the face, watching a pretty cool movie, and there's Queen going. So what's Highlander about? Well, there are these bunch of immortals, and they've lived hundreds and hundreds of years, and now something's happening called the Gathering, where the few that remain will gather in one place, and then they'll fight for the prize, which, they do, because, there can be only one. And then, so you got Duncan MacLeod, who's this good, immortal dude. He's hanging out in modern day America, or in the 80s, just kind of minding his own business when he gets attacked by one immortal, and then he spends the rest of the movie kind of being hunted by another immortal, played by Clancy Brown, the Kurgan. I've seen Clancy Brown in a lot of things, and I know I've seen him in this, but he's a name I became aware of after this movie. So going back and seeing Clancy Brown in this as this intimidating Kurgan, he was fantastic, and actually one of the highlights, if not the highlight of the movie. I loved him. I thought he was amazing. He's scary, he's intense. There's this scene where he's immortal, so he doesn't give a fuck, right? But he's driving this car and just flooring it and just driving recklessly and irresponsibly. The woman next to him is just like freaking out. She's mortal, she's going to die. And he's just like, it's just fucking terrifying. It's amazing. Now, the movie intercuts from Duncan MacLeod's like history to this point, or some of it, with all the modern day stuff. So you find out how he became immortal, what happened to him, all this kind of stuff as the movie progresses. There's some really cool flashbacky stuff, which I can't believe I said that. But when you're telling stories about immortals, you kind of want to see how they've grown and progressed over the centuries and stuff. That kind of aspect about it is really cool. Also, didn't think Sean Connery was in it all that much. He's fine. He's good in this as a role, accent aside, but he's not in the movie very long. He teaches Duncan MacLeod how to be a good immortal dude, which is what he does. Now, I had a lot of fun with it. It's fine. It's not a great movie, but it's a really good time. The way this movie is directed feels very music video-y at times. There's really odd angles, different kinds of cuts. The camera moves around a lot more, or it stays and it looks up at people as they just do normal things. I really like how this movie is directed, and kind of surprised that Russell Mulcahy didn't kind of have a more successful career as a movie director. I know he does more features after this, but I don't think anything as big or as good as this original Highlander movie. I was also shocked to discover that this was a giant flop. I don't know, for some reason I thought Highlander was one of the big classic 80s movies of the 80s. Nope, not at the cinema anyway, but apparently it was on VHS. See, and I can see why. I don't know why this bombed. This is a really good time. Really cool kind of setup, mystery and lore. A really good beginning, middle, and ending. In fact, this movie ends so conclusively that I'm left scratching my head going, how is there a sequel to this? How are there multiple sequels to this? This movie, it's over. It's all done. They're all dead, except for one. There could be only one. Spoilers. But yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if I'm going to touch any of the sequels. Actually, it's a lie. I'm probably going to watch Highlander 2 at some point. But this movie gets a 7 out of 10. It holds up pretty well. Fight scenes might look a little dated or whatever, but that's fine. Everything else about the movie is really good and really well done. +1 for the freaking awesome Queen music. Because I love the songs that they use in this. Most of the songs come from the Queen album, A Kind of Magic. Not all of them, because Hammer to Fall is in it. But, just really liking all the Queen music. Really added to everything for me. So I guess it's an 8 out of 10. Yeah. Want to make your movie better? Just have Queen music in it. Works for me. If you like, dislike, share, and subscribe.